driving right past her park. And I'm so sorry, Toni, we're not going to the park. No, we're not going to the park. I'm so sorry. We're going to Wickes. Not as fun as the park, I know. It's just a nice suburban South Manchester road.
Nice, I don't know.
Taking us to our destination of DIY.
I don't know if nice is the word.
Pardon?
I don't know if nice is the word.
No. My dad used to always say, DIY says die. Why are you like this? Lucy. Should we get one of these?
Toni, should we get one?
We're alright just getting on ladders, aren't we? We don't need to get like an extension thing. Just get a normal this.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
And some brushes. With like thin brush and...
I don't know.
It's a fine brush that's but I guess I need to get
Maybe you should have got a trolley one.
those.
Yeah, they're great. Don't think it matters.
Just waiting outside our local co-op because Lucy, my eldest daughter's really thirsty and she's gone to get some water. We were just having a chat about having all this lovely white paint and how nice it was when we left one of our homes that we really were fond of. We left it to go and live in a house. We were really happy that we could buy this house, which we bought, and when we got in this house it was horrible. We were really unhappy. Beth was only a baby and she was about 2, and then we got very emotional while we were there, and then one day I just decided that I couldn't stand it any longer, so I phoned the landlord and asked if we could move back, and he let us. It was empty still, so we did, and we whitewashed everywhere and made it look really beautiful and put orange flowers everywhere, and it was just really smart, and it felt like we'd rejuvenated our life again because we'd been living in such a depressing place, and it was just so nice to be back in South Manchester where it was brighter and lighter. And so we were just thinking about it, and then we decided that we might go for a little drive, which when she comes out of the co-op we are going to go and check it out. Traffic's a bit crap and it might take us a bit longer than normal, but we're going to go and have a nosy and see what it looks like these days. There will be a longer post about this because we're going to go down a few memory lanes and about places where I grew up, where I lived when I was little and things like that, which is a lot of Manchester. Moved a lot in my lifetime. So we're going to go and have a nosy now and see how Appleby Lodge is looking. Somebody's giving me the eye because I'm not really funny and I think I'm going to have to move. Just a thought then about, was I thinking, just let me think, just gone out and need to come back. Yeah, you know, it'd be nice to touch on this thing where, you know, everybody wants to get out of Manchester and everybody kind of stays and they feel like they're stuck here, they feel like they're imprisoned in Manchester. It'd be nice to sort of talk about how actually Manchester's actually alright, it's a nice place. It's not as indigenous as it used to be probably, but there are still pockets of people and places here that are still here and have been here for 100 years. My God, that looks so grand, doesn't it? It looks as haunted as hell, but it looks grand.
I don't think it looks that haunted. I mean, they're the people that put a nice Christmas tree up in the bay window.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know what it is. It's probably flats.
No, it's a house, I think, still.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it is nice. This is a really weird one, actually. They've turned this pub, which was it called the Four Crosses?
Yeah.
I'll show you in a minute. They've turned it into a... It's
been a few
the Four
pubs.
Crosses.
It's been called a
or am
few
I thinking
things.
about the place in Anglesey?
Well, it had like a children's... no, it had a... Yeah, you are.
Yeah. What was it called?
This was a children's play area. And then
Yeah,
it had,
but it's now an estate agent, and it's a really beautiful building.
I know,
and it's such a weird estate agent. It's like, why?
It doesn't really suit it, does it?
No.
I'm just coming into Withington now, which hasn't changed hardly, to be fair. When I was a kid, my mum used to bring us shopping in Withington because it was full of shops, and it was like, it was a bit posh actually. It's not posh anymore, but it was actually quite posh to go to Withington for shopping. It used to be nice. And I remember there used to be a TV shop, and we used to stand and watch TV shop, looking at the tennis, and probably wanting to be at home watching telly, to be fair. Instead of Shillington now, you see that clock tower there. That was a cinema, old cinema, which was City City.
No, the cinema was there, Mum, where the Costa is.
Oh yeah, they called it the Scala.
Yeah.
They called it the Scala. The Scala originally was there, and then it became City City. No, that was the pub. Sorry, where the clock is.
Yeah,
I think
the
it was
pub's
the. I can't remember. White Lion. I think it was. The
Yeah,
White
it was
Lion.
the White Lion.
And then this pub, this Costa was City City, where we used to go to watch the films because it was local, cheap, and there was lots of pubs around here, so you had a good night really when you're watching a cinema. You go and have a few drinks and watch a film, or the other way around, depends on what time you watch the film. And I remember my mum told me a funny story when she went in there to watch The Exorcist, and she had to drive home after she dropped all her friends off, and when she came in, she was white. I remember my mum being so pale, and she said, I was so scared in the car. I thought that somebody was going to appear at me behind me in the sea. It was such a scary film. Don't go see The Exorcist. She kept saying it's a really scary film. And you know, to be fair, I've never watched it. Apparently it is really scary, but I've never watched it. Maybe I will. I don't know. And then I went to see Paris, Texas there. I remember that as well. I remember a guy behind me being really annoying because all he kept saying all the way through it is, when's Natasha Kinski going to come in it? And she doesn't come in it much, does she?
No.
And that was funny. That made me laugh. And my mum took me there as a surprise once when I was little to see Gone with the Wind. And I remember the interval came and I said, is that it, Mum? And she went, no, it's only halfway through. And I was like, oh God, it's so boring.
The book's
so
good.
boring.
The book's actually really good.
Well, that's
It's a
how I
lot
got,
better than the film.
that's how I got my name Melanie, because I was named after the character in Gone with the Wind.
But the book's genuinely a really good book. A lot better than the film.
Maybe I'll read it.
There used to be a bookshop just next to. I'll show you actually there. Do you remember the bookshop? Dad used to take me to
I
do
do,
it.
yeah.
We used to walk up Wilmslow
You're right,
Road,
yeah.
and it had a spiral staircase in it. It had like this cast iron spiral staircase into the basement. And I've still got it. I bought a collection of Hans Christian Andersen's fairy tales. Probably about 8 or 9, but it was just on the corner, like in a minute. It was a really nice bookshop, and I remember what the guy who looked like who owned it as well.
I remember the bookshop.
There was loads of good cinema books. That's why Dad used to go.
I remember it.
Yeah, it was a really good second-hand bookstore.
This pub's been here since the year dot.
Oh yeah, I like this pub.
It's like something out of Hobson's Choice.
Yeah, it's
isn't it?
great. I love it. I've been in a couple of times.
It's really old.
Where the hair lounge is, that was where the bookshop was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tony, we forgot about you.
We forgot all about you. You've been so good in the back there.
We forgot about you too.
Are you happy? You're happy that you're not in the house? She might be getting a bit nervous now actually because it's getting a bit dark. She doesn't like the dark.
She's fine.
In the hotels drinking. We used to love going in the hotels because it was nice escape for us because no one else went in there. So we used to like going to places where to get away from people sometimes. You know, I shouldn't really say that, but it's true. Sometimes you just want your own place to go for a drink where you're not going to bump into anyone.
I always loved these houses. They're really old. The houses to the side of you.
Yeah.
The black and white ones.
Used to be a doctor's there, was where we used to take you both.
Oh, there's the friendship. That's Evans's favourite memory with Dad in there.
Oh, really?
Well, when they
City.
embraced after the City match,
Yeah.
and then my dad was crying in each other's arms
it when they
after
moved
they
up?
won. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
when they watched. Yeah, I don't know. I don't
know what
if it's due
happened,
football,
but, yeah.
but basically City won. Like, and Evans has this really beautiful memory of Dad there, and it makes him very
So
sad.
excited, yeah. They were. And Sainsbury's there, that was Fallowfield Station, it was a train station, and down that road there when we first moved in.
That's a beautiful building, actually. Fallowfield
Well, it's
Station.
Fallowfield Station, yeah. And down there, where Sainsbury's is now, there was a row of shops, and along that road there was a fish shop, a craft shop.
We're gonna do a bigger post
Yeah,
about that on
yeah.
the ground.
There were all things down there that were nice because I used to walk you in the pram all the way down here, and then I'd go shopping, get fresh fish. You can't do that now because there's some supermarkets. Now it's
Just a lot of takeaways.
As I've already said, I'm a really big fan of supermarkets. It's my favourite place to be.
a lot of takeaways.
And then down here is, one here was because when we were kids, we used to be brought, there's a toy shop and a sports shop, and below was the sports shop and above was the toy shop. And my nanny and granddad used to bring us here on bonfire night because we always got offered. My nanny used to say, do you want fireworks or do you want toys? And we used to say toys. And we used to go in there and get loads of toys and go home and play with the toys. And then we go upstairs into my bedroom and put all the lights out and watch next door's fireworks. So we got a good deal, really.
Oh my god, there's the Queen of Hearts where Dad got told to leave because he wasn't a student.
Yeah.
Which you could only go in there if you're a student.
That's very annoying. Probably still the same.
And that's when I think we decided to move.
I think we did actually.
And Dad came home and he was like, so I can't drink in the Queen of Hearts anymore.
Yeah.
I think we should leave.
I think we should leave. Yeah, it's really, really stupid. I got chucked out of the Revolution once because, not chucked out physically, but told I couldn't stay in because I wasn't a student.
Yeah, they used to have this thing called a Scream card, where if you didn't, you had to have this yellow card with said Scream on it. If you didn't have it, you couldn't stay.
They wouldn't let you in.
You only got it if you were a student.
It's like, I lived around here like a lot of my life, you know, it's like you should sort of, you know,
It's really bad.
for a joke. So that was quite funny.
I think, yeah, the students did really affect this area actually a lot in regards to like feeling of community and
Well,
you know, local businesses and stuff.
it is very much Studesville. It's always been Studesville as far as the 80s.
Which is nice. There's a nice part to it. But then there was also this very dark side to it, wasn't there? Where it was just a lot of takeaways opened.
And litter.
Litter everywhere.
All Saints now is disgusting, you know, because it's just full of like litter. This is now just turning into a place called Appleby Lodge. Appleby Lodge. Got a nice name, ring to it. Always makes me smile.
I can see Sue's apartment.
It's where we lived from about 1988, I would say, to 2000 and... No, actually, it's later than that. It's 88? Yeah, 87, 88. And we came backwards and forwards from being in Appleby Lodge, really. We moved out and then came back. And then we left in 2006.
Reason being because we never really felt more of a community than here.
It was just everything with the timing, all about timing. Everyone had children when we were here, and this was one of the safest places you could come and let your children out to play. So we used to have this flat here, which was on the bottom floor where this orange car is. That was our flat. This one, yeah. That was our flat, and I used to have on the kitchens at the bottom there.
My cat's buried there.
And yeah, your cat's buried there, Corky. And then we used to play with families, and this family along here had children, and the beautiful big willow tree, which is really magical. Lucy, you learnt to ride your bike, remember?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
And then it was just the most special, magical
Nita
time.
used to sunbathe naked outside.
Yeah, she was very elderly, and yeah, she used to sunbathe half naked, which was
Oh, she was amazing. She used to give
hilarious,
me
but she was a funny
£5
lady.
note on my birthday.
She was a great lady. She was fun. But it's like just the safest place, and we had kids from this side, didn't we, used to play?
Yeah.
And then people I used to always was in the kitchen and at home time and getting everybody in, and people would be knocking on the window saying, "Hi Mel, you all right? You coming out later?" If it was summer, we'd get bottles of wine and we'd sit in the garden, and it's the most splendid time. Most splendid time. But also the timing was just perfect because there was a group of children all here at the same time, whereas now there are no children there. I know people who still live there, and they remember us being there saying how wonderful it was.
Yeah, people would always shout
when we were there.
"Shut up!"
Yeah,
because we were making so much noise in the garden.
But there was a lot of, there's no children there now, it's just become mostly students, I think, from what I gather, and there's a few people who are still there. But
yeah, so
it was a magical time, and it's got loads of history, Appleby Lodge, and it's a beautiful building, and it's a listed building. So
and we're going to do a larger
and we'll
post,
do more
a larger
about
post
that.
on it and go like show the garden and stuff.
Of all the places that I have lived in my life, that is the happiest place I've ever lived, and I'm so glad that I have that memory. So glad.